You ever just wake up and feel like you're doing the same thing every day and it's not really your life? Like you're just following a routine somebody else made up for you? That's kind of how I've been feeling lately. Working jobs that don't even feel like they matter. Just trying to pay bills, buy food, and repeat it all next week. And I'm not even asking to be rich, man. I just want freedom. Enough money to live how I want, not stress about every dollar, and not have to wake up to an alarm every single morning for a job I don't care about. I've been thinking a lot about what it would take to actually make that happen, like what's the process of getting out of that loop? Because it's not easy. Everybody says, just start your own thing or invest or find your passion, but they never talk about how hard it actually is. When you're trying to build something for yourself, you realize real quick that it's not about luck, it's about consistency. You have to actually learn, fail, and keep going even when nothing's happening. There are days where I feel motivated and ready to go, and then there are days where I just question everything. Like, is this even possible? Can I really get to a point where I don't need a normal job? And honestly, I think that's part of the process. It's not some straight line up. It's like trial and error. You find something that makes sense, you test it, you make mistakes, and you adjust. The hardest part isn't learning a new skill or finding something to do. It's staying focused when there's no guaranteed paycheck. When you work a job, even if it sucks, you know that money's coming in. When you work for yourself, it's all on you. That's scary, but also kind of exciting, because when it does work, even a little, it feels different. It's not just money. It's proof that your time actually means something, that you can survive without doing something you hate. I think a lot of people mess up because they chase being rich instead of chasing being free. Like they want millions, but what they really want is just peace. For me, it's about balance. I don't need luxury or status. I just don't want to rely on anyone else for my survival. That's all. And I'm not saying I've got it all figured out. I'm still learning. Some days I feel like I'm making progress. Other days it feels like I'm going backward. But I'm okay with that. I'd rather take a few years struggling to build something real than spend 40 years doing something I hate. People act like wanting freedom means you're lazy. It's not that. It's that I don't want my whole life to be traded for someone else's profit. I just want to wake up one day, do my own thing, and know that even if it's not perfect, it's mine. That's the goal. Not to be rich, just to be free. And if you feel the same way, like you're tired of working jobs that drain you, and you're trying to find something that makes sense, then you get it. It's not about the money. It's about getting your time back. I don't know exactly where this path leads, but I know I'm done doing things that don't matter to me. I'd rather fail doing something I care about than succeed doing something I hate. That's where I'm at right now, just trying to figure it out one step at a time. And sometimes I stop and think, what if I settled too early? Maybe I started following a path that wasn't really mine, just the one that seemed safe. I think about that a lot. How easy it is to just get stuck doing things out of habit, not passion. Waking up, checking your phone, going to work, coming home tired, repeating it all tomorrow. And somewhere in the middle of all that, you forget you ever had dreams. Like you just traded curiosity for comfort. I don't even think most people choose that life. It just kind of happens. You do what you have to do, and before you know it, years go by. And suddenly you're sitting there wondering where the time went. Starting over doesn't always mean dropping everything and running away. Sometimes it just means deciding you're not going to keep living on autopilot. Maybe I can't fix everything overnight, but I can start changing direction. Even a small shift can change everything. You pick up a new skill. You start saving a little differently. You spend your nights learning instead of scrolling. You start treating your time like it's worth something. And yeah, it's uncomfortable at first, because when you try to grow, life tests you. You'll feel alone. You'll doubt yourself. You'll feel like you're wasting your time. But honestly, that's the part that most people never push through. They hit that wall, and they stop, when really, that wall is where everything starts to change. You don't need to know exactly what your dream life looks like. You just need to know what you don't want anymore. You can figure out the rest along the way. For me, I just know I don't want to feel trapped by my own routine. I don't want to live a life where every day feels like a copy of the last one. I want something that feels real, even if it's messy, even if it's risky. Comfort can be dangerous. It feels nice, but it quietly kills your ambition. It convinces you that maybe this is good enough. And before you know it, you stop trying to change anything. But there's always time to start again. Even if you failed before, even if people doubt you, even if you doubt yourself, you don't have to have a perfect plan. You just have to move. Because the longer you wait, the heavier it gets. Momentum is everything. The first step might be the smallest, but it's also the hardest because it's the one that breaks the pattern. After that, it's just about keeping it going. And you'll notice something crazy happens when you start taking yourself seriously. People around you start treating you differently, too. Opportunities show up. You start attracting things that match your effort. Most people don't fail because they're not capable. They fail because they give up right before something was about to happen. It's like that moment before sunrise. The sky's still dark, but it's just a few minutes away from light. You just got to hold on long enough to see it. Maybe life isn't about having everything figured out, but learning to keep going even when you don't. Because every time you start again, you get a little stronger, a little smarter, a little closer. So yeah, I'm not saying I've got it all worked out. I still get lost. I still have days where I question everything. But I've stopped being scared of starting over. Because I'd rather start again 100 times than spend one more year living a life that doesn't feel like mine. Maybe freedom isn't escaping work or money or responsibility. Maybe it's choosing the kind of life that actually feels worth living. And the thing is, starting over doesn't just mean changing what you do. Sometimes it means changing who you are while you're doing it. Because if you want a different life, you can't keep showing up as the same version of yourself. You have to unlearn a lot of stuff, habits, beliefs, even the way you think about yourself. That's the part nobody really talks about. It's not just about working harder or grinding longer. It's about thinking differently. You got to stop seeing yourself as someone who's stuck and start seeing yourself as someone who's still in progress. Because when you tell yourself, I'm stuck, you act like it. But when you say, I'm still learning, suddenly the pressure shifts. You're not failing, you're growing. And growth doesn't always look good. Sometimes it looks like confusion, like taking 3 steps back just to move 1 forward. Sometimes it means being misunderstood. People thinking you've lost it because you stopped doing what everyone else does. But that's how you know you're changing, when things that used to make sense don't anymore. I think the real test isn't how hard you can work, it's how long you can believe in yourself when no one else does. Because there's always that quiet moment, late at night, when everything's still and you start wondering if it's even worth it. You look around and everyone else seems to be moving faster, doing better, living easier. But you don't see their doubt, their fear, their failures. You just see the surface. And that's what messes people up. They start comparing their behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel. Then they quit before they even get a chance to see what they could have become. But real progress doesn't happen overnight. It happens in silence, when nobody's clapping for you. It happens when you're exhausted but still decide to show up. When you learn something new, even though it feels pointless that day. When you keep going, not because you see results, but because you know one day you will. That's the part that builds you. The days where nothing seems to work, those are the ones that matter most. Because if you can keep moving through that, you can handle anything that comes after. And yeah, it's lonely sometimes. Not everybody will understand what you're chasing. They'll tell you to be realistic, to stop wasting your time, to just be grateful for what you have. But gratitude and growth aren't enemies. You can be grateful for where you are and still want more for yourself. You can love your life, but still know it's not your final version. That's not being greedy, that's being alive. There's something powerful about betting on yourself when no one else will. It's like taking all the weight of your life and saying, all right, I'll carry it. And when you do that long enough, you stop being scared of failing. You realize failing doesn't kill you. Staying the same does. Because the truth is, failure is just feedback. It's life's way of saying, not this way, try another. And once you understand that, you stop avoiding failure and start using it. Every mistake becomes a clue. Every wrong move teaches you what the right one looks like. You stop seeing setbacks as the end and start seeing them as redirection. That's when things really start to change. The crazy thing is, most of the time the results show up after you were about to give up. It's like life waits to see if you really mean it, if you're serious. And when you prove that you are, suddenly the door cracks open just a little. You get one opportunity, one person who believes in you, one thing that clicks, and it shifts everything. And that's what makes all the pain worth it. Because that's the moment you realize you built something from nothing. Nobody gave it to you. You created it out of pure effort. That's a kind of pride that money can't buy. I've learned that freedom isn't just about having time or money. It's about control. Control over your emotions, your habits, your reactions. Because you can have money and still be miserable if you can't control your mind. And you can be broke and still feel at peace if you've learned how to trust yourself. That's what I'm chasing now, internal freedom. The kind that doesn't fade when your situation changes. The kind that stays even when things go wrong. I used to think success was a destination. Now I realize it's more like a rhythm, a pattern of showing up, learning, adjusting, and repeating. It's not about winning every day. It's about not quitting on the bad ones. So yeah, I'm still figuring it out. Still waking up early some days, staying up too late others. Still questioning myself, still trying, still building. But I'm not going back. I've seen what happens when you live life on autopilot, and I can't do that again. I'd rather keep walking my own path, even if it's slow, even if it's hard. Because at least this way, it's mine. Every mistake, every win, every lesson, it's all part of something I'm creating for myself.